Supposed to have Michael Levinson on here, and I'm trying to see what's going on. It's not cooperating right now. It worked fine when I had Daniel on, but I don't know why it's not working now. Hold on a second. Well, we are recording, and I'm not sure why it's not working now. So I'm going to resend this link again to Michael and see what happens. Let's just see what happens here. Anyway, the intention was that Michael would come on and we would discuss today's reading. Is that going to happen? I don't know. We'll actually have to wait and find out. He's got the link, so I don't know why he's not coming on. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and read the reading, and then let's see if we can get Michael on or not. It's called Transactional or Transformative. And once again, this is courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center in Spring, Texas. The first quote is from someone I don't know, actually, Sean A. Ginwright, and this is a long title. The Four Pivots, Reimagining Justice, Reimagining Ourselves, and it's on page 107. We all need to pivot to deeper, more transformative ways to connect and belong. And this is Ernest Holmes, if we identify ourselves with the source and perform the act, we may know that our word establishes eternal harmony, transforms everything, rearranges everything to our benefit. And that was from Creative Living on page 19, paragraph 2. And Michael did make it, finally. So welcome, Michael. Do you have sound? It shows that you do have sound, Michael. Do you want to say something? Well, for some reason, your sound is not coming through. Try it now. I'm not quite sure. Why does it say Q? I'm not quite sure why it's doing that, because when Danielle came on, it just worked fine right away. The sound was on, the whole thing. So it's sort of weird. Well, I'll tell you what, while you mess around, see if you can do something at your end there, I will continue on with the reading. Is that okay? In the first summer of the COVID-19 pandemic, a woman in my community placed several bags of hostas from her garden in front of her home to give away. In mid-November, she came home from a walk and found an envelope waiting for her. Inside was an anonymous thank you note with some cash. The giver wanted to express gratitude for the woman's kindness. The gardener then took the money and donated it to a local Elks Club to offer during its fundraising for charity dinner. She hadn't intended her gift of plants to be transactional. She had no expectation of anything in return and simply enjoyed the thought that her neighbors would appreciate the plants in their own gardens. However, when the receiver was motivated to reciprocate, the giver happily passed along the funds to help people she'll never meet. The truth is, we never know how far our generous, kind, caring, and compassionate act travels. Any act that expresses a God quality will spread ripples created when we will spread like ripples created when we toss a pebble into a pond. What happens as a result really doesn't matter. What matters is that we're transformed by the acts of giving, being kind, caring for one another, and demonstrating compassion. She then asks us 3 questions. How would you characterize the actions in your life? Are they transactional or are they transformative? How can you change transactional relationships into transformative ones? Well, that leaves a lot of scope actually to do things, right? Now, just so we don't get things wrong, there's nothing wrong with transactional acts at all because they're necessary for life to go on. But what she's actually really saying here is that when you're doing a transactional act, i.e., what the lady did, is to see if it's possible that you can transform that from just a regular transaction into something that will help other people. I mean, it's really as simple as that. You are on the stream now, Michael.
Yeah, I see me. I see
Okay.
you.
So we've sorted it out. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. So the evidence of the exercise is for you and me to discuss this. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on this, Michael? By the way, I want to introduce Michael for the ones of you who may not know, since this stuff goes out. It streams out to more than just creative life stuff. It streams out to my other Facebook pages and God knows what else. So Michael is a practitioner at Creative Life Spiritual Center. We have about 20 practitioners, give or take. A practitioner's job is to pray for people, support people, and Michael is incredibly good at doing this. Although he lives in Albuquerque, he supports our center, and he's a member of our center. He's a practitioner with our center. So that's a quick intro from Michael. So what do you make of the reading, Michael?
Well, I did have the advantage of taking a class with Sean Ginwright, who is the author of 4 Pivots.
Oh, okay, good.
That's the first quote. And he did go into talking about what's transformative. And the context of this quote, which was the first part of the reading, is that we all need to pivot to deeper ways of connecting with people. And I think that being vulnerable, being able to express trust, having a sense of somewhat formal intimacy, to be honest and forth and transparent and to show that you care are all parts of a spiritual practice that also is transformative. I agree with you. Transactional is very important. It shows authority and title and function, but transformative allows people to go into a deeper spiritual practice, I think.
Okay. Did he actually share with you any examples? Like Joanna?
Yeah, he said that what he was trying to avoid was the false idea that we can transform our systems without transforming the people who are in them. So you can pass laws and dictate process, but really you have to reach into people's hearts and get them to pivot to a deeper level. So that's what the transformative part is.
Okay, so having had the advantage of going through this, it was a course, right?
Yeah, and it was a course, and it was his book. So his book's very popular, and he just spoke at the spiritual retreat in South Carolina too.
Okay.
He was a major speaker there.
So, is there any advice you could pass on to some of our people may or may not be familiar with New Thoughts or Creative Life Spiritual Center or even Unity or any of the others?
Well, I think it's in alignment with just referring in my mind to what you spoke about yesterday as having a spiritual practice that opens you up and seeks out prayer and treatment, that you are reading proactively, that you're listening on a deeper level, that you're introspective, that you do have quiet time, that you surround yourself with good stuff, which means good people, good practices, good decisions, that you can participate in a community that supports you and that supports good values, and that you're actively and proactively reaching out for those services.
So actually being part of a community is really important, correct?
Yes, I think so. And even though you studied massively to be a minister, and myself to be a practitioner, it's every day. It's always looking for a deeper trust and intimacy with yourself and with others.
Okay, so in other words, we're always ministering to ourselves and to other people, correct?
I think so.
Okay, that's cool. Is there anything else you want to add?
Um, I, I think that it isn't, in the old days, and when I went to a Christian church, it was like you did things just on Sundays that were considered religious or spiritual. And now I'm convinced that it really is every day, and it's all your decisions that you make every day on a daily basis. So it's really a lifestyle.
So could we say that this will be more equivalent to, following Jesus' teachings as opposed to just saying, "Hey, I'm a Christian."
Right. The Christ consciousness of
Yeah.
of
As
that.
Paul said, let us enter into that consciousness, which was Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the affirmation kind of spells that out too.
Yeah. I'm not a big one for big, long, lengthy affirmations. So what do you think?
Well, this is what I was kind of referring to. It's every day, and then you're looking for ways to make relationships transformative for myself, yourself, and others.
Yeah.
So you're listening. I think proactive listening is very important, whether you're at the market buying groceries or whether you're in your spiritual center or with yourself having quiet time.
So a transformative act could be, for instance, we just came out of Costco earlier this afternoon. My wife was complimenting different people on how they dressed and how they looked,
Yes.
So to me, that would be a transformative act because you're lifting up somebody else's life,
Yes.
You're taking the time to actually go ahead and do that.
Yes. I had that experience today in REI. I was coming out, and one of the employees approached me and says, "Well, did you find everything? Are you taken care of?" And I said, "Yes, I am. And you also have the most beautiful glass frames. I think they look great, and you look great in them." And she really appreciated that. She picked her glasses so that it would create some attention, I guess, in a positive way, and I think it worked.
All right, cool. So anything else you want to add before we end our stream?
No, I think Barb and I are of like-minded when it comes to reaching out to people like that.
So in other words, I sacrificed an hour of my time so that Barbara could actually go and compliment people, right?
There you go. You can get the car warmed up.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Okay. Well, once again, folks, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep bringing different people from Creative Life Spiritual Center on. Mike will be on again in the future. Danielle will be on again in the future. I'm not quite sure if I'll ever be able to drag Reverend Jesse on, our senior minister, but I'm sure a lot of the other people will be on. And we really do enjoy doing this because to us, this is a ministry. And
Yes.
the word minister implies that you actually help and serve other people. It is not the other way around. Any minister who thinks you're there to serve them, in my humble opinion, they're not a true minister.
Right.
So with that, I just want to wish all of you a wondrous rest of the day. Just to remind you that Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning. And as you all know, the ones of you who've listened to her, one of her prime things is going to be, guess what? Self-care.
A little bit of homework.
Yeah, and you will get some homework. And your homework actually today is this. It's simply, in the next 24 hours, to be aware of times when you could be of assistance to somebody else, or you could do something slightly differently that would actually change what you're doing from a transactional to a transformative act. So that is your homework for the next 24 hours. So until next time, namaste. And thank you, Michael, for coming on.
Thank you, David.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.